going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So yesterday we got our first look at some brand new Kate Bishop gameplay in the harm rooms from all the abilities and takedowns, which blew, I guess it's safe to say, at least 95% of the people's minds who were watching the stream. Now of course the stream was a bit laggy, unfortunately, which kind of did suck in that perspective, but nonetheless it did feature some really cool gameplay that I'll be showcasing in the background. So we got all of that stuff to go through, alongside the fact of Vince Napoli, who's still working on this game, and if he's actually way more crucial to this game than we think. But as always, let's go for 19 likes, 2 comments, and go ahead and click that big red subscribe button below if you have not already. So diving into it, you can probably see the gameplay, like I said, in the back with Phil and Andy, taken from the stream, which I'll probably link in the description below. It was like an hour long. They did more or less go through all the gears and the perks and all that kind of stuff, so if you want to check out the full stream, it's like an hour and a bit long. Definitely check it out if you did miss it, because like I said, it features some really cool things. But with that being said, Kate's gameplay is way more impressive than I thought, and you guys know that I've always said this was a character that I don't really care for, and then after we saw the first bit of gameplay in the trailer, I did think, okay, this definitely does seem very interesting. Now, I want to bring up with what I said at the start of the video, which was about Vince Napoli, who is of course the lead combat designer for this game, who did work on God of War and multiple other AAA title games as well. So that being said, he has built a pretty solid name for himself in that perspective. Now, Kate being, you know, I guess a melee character, an archer and so forth, of course, the key thing this basically isn't the only thing we can truly say that the devs as a whole have nailed in this game, right? Okay, it's something that you can't really be oblivious to. The combat in this game, being completely honest, is what makes this game, and if it wasn't for Vince Napoli and, you know, the way the combat turned out, I guess like if it was a bit mediocre or something along those lines where it just kind of felt average, then who knows where this game would have gone. But this is where it's super critical and crucial, I guess you could say, because considering the fact that this is the first look at raw gameplay for the first ever DLC character, okay, that majority of people weren't 100% on, I have to say this has given me a lot of hope for other characters in the sense of how they feel. Of course, when you're going to be playing Kate Bishop, you'll get to feel if she's athletic, for example, etc, etc. Like, you've got other characters that do feel heavier than others and so forth, so you'll be able to experience that. But like I said, after just seeing this and, you know, the way, I guess, how smooth things are going, this is what has really given me a lot of hope for other characters, like especially Black Panther and Spider-Man, because you guys know when we were talking about Spider-Man the other day, I more or less came to the conclusion that, hey, you know, as far as comparing him to another character in terms of the flexibility and so forth, we probably shouldn't expect too much in terms of a change, and that it will probably be along the lines of Black Widow's movements in that perspective. But I don't know anymore. Like, I was confident when I said that then, but after seeing the huge change with Kate, I can honestly say that I just don't know how much of a difference there will be, because this is a significant different, right? Or different, should I say, compared to the other characters. Like, it actually does feel like a brand new character. Now, sadly, we did not see the Super Adaptoid gameplay, but after seeing the new style of combat, I'm just super curious to see how the Super Adaptoid as well will play out. Now, a few things were mentioned, and these are really key things regarding the DLC and what's going to be coming with it content-wise. So, firstly, the hero, well, her support heroic decoy basically allows her to spawn a clone who can damage enemies, and it acts as a turret which zones enemies, and you can also add an ability to turn it into a quantum bomb to take out multiple enemies, and they will be focused on the decoy, so that at that time you can essentially support it mid-battle for additional damage. Now there is Quantum Overdrive, which is a similar ability to Captain America's Brooklyn Brawler. Now what it does is it gives her infinite intrinsic abilities, so you can essentially just teleport around the map freely as long as that is active. Now again, with the teleportation feature and so forth, that is what is looking really different and fun. It feels refreshing, right? It's safe to say it's one of those things that kind of almost make you want to main this DLC character, which by the way, if you are, let me know in the comment section below. Will you be maining this DLC character, or are you replacing it for another one? Let me know in the comments below. Now you also have the warp arrow, which basically allows you to shoot an arrow for a long distance, which instantly teleports you to that location, and they are quite useful for boss fights to avoid larger attacks. There are, however, some limitations to where you can place portals, and enemies can't enter them, which I guess is a good thing, right? Because that would definitely be extremely frustrating in that sense. But you can actually activate the warp around at any, well, the warp arrow, right, at any time with a button press, so you are not dependent on hitting an actual surface to activate it. Which again, when it comes down to, I guess, heavier, well, larger enemies with heavier attacks, boss fights, etc., it's going to be very crucial there. Now, it was also mentioned that, of course, Kate Bishop will be available on the start screen and may have some additional music added to the game, which I think is nice and refreshing. We did actually see the teasers with the marketplace update. A lot of people were digging out what they were able to see behind that, and it did actually show that Kate Bishop was essentially standing next to 4, and that, for example, she was leaning on 4 and so forth. There was some dialogue. I don't know if that's going to be added or if we're still just going based on that speculation, right? But of course, this is where things will get interesting, and I say interesting because when we look at the wider angle on how things have played out, you know, this month before all the delays, etc., we were technically meant to have Clint 2, right? Although there was not an official release date, going on the basis that we were going to have Kate a lot earlier, it was basically confirmed, well, not confirmed, but speculated with a lot of solid evidence that we would have had 2 DLCs. But when I said this is where things will get interesting, I'm talking about player numbers, right? Because the amount of people that claim they have uninstalled the game is very big. So the question is, will there be a spiking numbers of people who basically own the game already and just essentially re-download the game to play the DLC to go ahead and try out this character? I personally think there will be, but at the same time, I'm not 100% sure that the numbers would jump up really high, and the reason I say that is because it's still Kate Bishop. So if you were someone who uninstalled the game and you still aren't really keen on Kate Bishop, for example, you probably still don't really care for that character to basically re-download the game, as opposed to if it was Black Panther or Spider-Man or, I don't know, like Winter Soldier, right? Another really big character that is, I guess, widely popular. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. We're going to see how things are going to go. An interesting fact is that the UK's top 20 best-selling box games, the list was released for November yesterday, and Marvel's Avengers comes in at the number 12 spot, right? But in comparison, or something to take into consideration, is that Miles Morales was at the number 4 spot, and that was a really fantastic game. So I don't know, you guys let me know in the comment section below. There's still hope. Let's see how this DLC plays out, but I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and adios amigos.